What's going on, guys? So look, I want to focus on two elements that I spoke about in the initial breakdown to the Philly book, but I really wanted to emphasize why it's so good. And the two things that I want to talk about are going to be the low ball streaks and also the 5 yard out routes from the outside receiver. So, first and foremost, as I mentioned, the only true way to really stop five wide, especially this five wide, is you have to blitz it. Because you can't rely on block shed to stop the QB draw. You can't rely on really anything besides really good user to stop the draw without blitzing. So you have to blitz. And then you can't really worry about coverage because we have actually good route concepts. We got post going from right to left. We got post going from left to right. We got, out routes. We got C routes. We got everything that you could possibly want on an offense. And with it being five wide, most people don't know how to defend five wide. Five wide is a very different thing that most people aren't used to seeing. When you see five wide online, typically, it's some bum running a wide receiver screen and a QB draw. Like, that's the type of thing that you see. So when you actually have a scheme at a five wide, it adds a whole nother element to the offense that most people just say, screw it, and blitz. That's really what they're going to do. So let's talk about the importance of the low ball streaks. That's first and foremost. So no matter what play you pick, whether it's Y corner, Y post, corner strike, stick and nod, typically I always have at least one streak on the field, right? Because I'm trying to utilize the streak to pull the zone deep to get another route. Now, we're going to come out and cover three, right? So we're going to actually go ahead, take off this auto flip. And I'll set up We'll Go Fire 3. Now, We'll Go Fire 3, for those of you that don't know, is basically the same exact thing as Fire Zone Press from 4.6. It's legit the same type of blitz concept. It's just as difficult to pick up. The only difference is you don't have speed package. That's really it. Like, you're sending a linebacker instead of Night Train, basically. So we'll set up We'll Go Fire. And let's go to the empty base. We'll pick any play. Let's come out and corner strike first. So with corner strike, the blitz setup, as you see right here, is this. This is what you're going to see. This is your standard, 3-4 man rush, right? So you got the 4-man rush. You got a hook zone that typically is who the personal user. You'll have cloud flats or hard flats depending on what your opponent thinks you're going to run. And then you got the guy deep. So basically, that's what you'll see. Your opponent will be kind of stuck in a limbo with their user. They will try to guard, the middle of the field. Now, the streaks. What the streaks do is it really puts pressure on your opponent to not have the flats, the cloud flats, the hard flats. Because if you have cloud flats or hard flats, two streak routes, like you see right here, are going to get open. So I've got a streak by Hogan, I got a streak by Lewis, and boom, I see the pressure, I see the blitz, I throw a low ball streak right up the seam. Now, the user at that point has to manually play that, right? So the only thing that they can do, is they're going to set up the blitz again, same exact thing. Here we'll go cloud flats. We'll take the user, we'll man him up to simulate that he's a low ball. He's going to go guard that. We'll even bring the guy in to the middle of the field on this hook zone to try to take away the streak to the tight end. So by doing this, boom, he presses, low ball streak. Like, you can low ball these routes, and you can low ball to 3 players, so your opponent can't manually guard them all. So here's the low ball streak to the tight end, right? We'll do the same exact thing. So same exact setup. This time we'll leave the seam flats. Seam flats, something people do. Go ahead. Boom. Oh, now we got the tight end fade. So you have the tight end fade, which is the tight end swerve, as Pete called it. You have the low ball to the tight end. So we'll go ahead and utilize the low ball. We'll go ahead, we'll simulate, say that he's going to go guard Lewis. We'll man up Hogan, put him in a hook zone, whatever the case may be. So this is something you would see. Like, we're getting really crazy with these adjustments, right? But the thing is, not only do you still have that, they're not going to react to the low ball. Like, the low ball streak, it has to be usered, pretty much, because the fact that we have the Cloud Flats out there, that takes away, that's two defenders that we simply don't have to worry about. So the fact that there's Cloud Flats, Hard Flats, whatever the case may be, simulate the user with this guy, taking away the inside to the left. Well, now you got the inside to the right. So dropping the DN back in coverage didn't matter because we had somebody ascending right into his little zone to pull him down. So I mean, you can see that the low ball streaks really are a huge element to this offense, and something I definitely wanted you guys to get comfortable throwing. Like, this is something that really will change the course of a game. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is the 5-yard out routes. So if your opponent's going to adjust, if they're going to make any adjustments whatsoever, typically you'll see them doing stuff like this. So they would still blitz, but then they would, take players and start manning them up. So you would see a hook, you would see like a guy manned up, you would see things like this. Like, your opponent's going to have to make adjustments like this to stop the streaks. And then once they do that, you auto play like wide corner, just put a 5-yard out route, hike, boom, completion. Like, that little pass right there might be the most frustrating pass in the game, because we are forcing our opponents to have hard flats, and then we're abusing the fact that they're in hard flats by throwing the low ball streaks to the tight ends or to the inside guys. So what that does is it forces our opponent to basically be in a Tampa 2. It's going to force our opponent to play Tampa 2 coverage. Once they play Tampa 2 coverage, now we're right back into the main staple of this offense. Once they're in this type of thing, we're just going to C-route glitch you. Yeah, boom. La-di-da, keep it moving. So the element of the low ball streaks, the 5-yard out routes to, annoy cover 3. So here's cover 3 again, right? We'll go Cloud Flats. We got 2 hook zones right here. Streak, go underneath. It's like, boom, boom, low ball. And made a great play on the ball right there. But that's not going to happen every single time. It's like, we'll do it again, right? Go back to it. I don't know why I flipped my play, but we'll just keep going. We got 2 drags underneath and a streak this time. Like, boom. Now we're just going to throw that. Like, the low-balled streaks, the out routes, that whole element really forces your opponent to stop blitzing you. Once they stop blitzing you, then you have everything else you want. You have these C routes, you have the QB draw, you have every element of the offense that you really want right back at your exposure. So you can see overall the low ball streaks are a huge element, something that I didn't want to get overlooked, and I knew people might because I didn't really focus in on it during the initial breakdown. But that's because I wanted to make a separate video to really make you guys understand how effective and how annoying it is and what it actually does to your defense. It really forces your opponent to have 2 to 3 hook zones. If you have 2 to 3 hook zones and you have Cloud Flats, you have 0 shot at getting pressure. Like, it's just too many zones on the field. And then if you have all those hook zones, you can throw drags, you can throw in routes, you got the posts. It's just, you have basically all day, not to mention your opponent is never going to be able to stop the QB draw, sending, only 3 players. So that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said, I just wanted to make a quick little video regarding what I think is a huge element to the offense that might have been overlooked.